Hi, I'm Jeff Richards, and welcome to Japan Today Spotlight, where we go deeper into the headlines you know and some you might have missed. At the Cannes Film Festival in May, a film by director Koji Fukada premiered, spotlighting a fictional Japanese idol singer. The film, Love on Trial, stars Kyoko Saito, herself a former idol, and it peels back the curtain on an industry that tightly controls the lives of its performers, especially young women. Behind the cutesy image, idol singers face hypocritically strict rules. No dating, no drugs, and definitely no sex. These unwritten rules are much tougher for girl groups than boy bands. And while the media rarely touches the subject, that level of control over image, behavior, and personal life raises uncomfortable questions about power, profit, and silence. In this week's edition of Japan Today Spotlight, we'll look at how idol singing groups evolved, their role in Japanese culture, and the darker side of this industry. Idol singers, or idoru as they're called in Japanese, have been around since the late 1970s. Back then, they were mostly solo acts. Big names like Momoe Yamaguchi and Seiko Matsuda set the tone. Sweet, innocent, and totally wholesome. But when Yamaguchi got married, that was it. Her singing career ended, but she was still expected to be the perfect wife and mother. By the 1990s, idol groups began to rise. Onyanko Club was one of the first. Boy bands like SMAP and Tokyo followed, groomed by the now notorious agency Johnny's Jimusho. Girl groups have been more dominant overall, partly because boy bands tend to keep going until their 30s and 40s, while the girls graduate around age 20, and then they get replaced. That rotating model has kept groups like Morning Musume and AKB48 running strong for decades. If a female idol is caught dating, the fallout can be brutal. Take Minami Minagishi of AKB48. Back in 2013, she was just 20 when a tabloid ran a story claiming she'd spent the night with a member of a boy band. In response, she shaved her head and posted a tearful apology video on YouTube. The image of her roughly shaven head was splashed across newspapers and websites. Her agency then demoted her to a trainee team, saying she'd caused a nuisance to fans. Then there's Momoka Tojo of Katakoto Bank. Last year, she posted photos on Twitter from her birthday. Just her and a young man eating cake together. After the post got attention, she deleted it. Her agency then announced her punishment. She would post a good night selfie alone every night for an entire year. Tojo apologized, saying she hadn't shown proper mindfulness expected of an idol. Her agency explained the punishment by saying, "The most important thing for an idol is to sleep by the side of each individual fan." The message: idols are expected to maintain a fantasy of emotional and arguably romantic intimacy with thousands of fans simultaneously, but they face punishment for having any real-life relationships of their own. It's a twisted double standard, and one that struck a nerve online where the backlash was quick. Many called the statement disturbing, which it is, not just for its wording, but for what it reveals about how young women in the industry are viewed, marketed, and controlled. How do agencies maintain this control over their clients? Simple. Keep the idols too busy to have a personal life. Schedules are packed, and often the girls don't even find out what they're doing the next day until late the night before. One agency manager told Joshi Spa magazine that If an idol suddenly starts asking for her schedule ahead of time, it's a red flag. She's probably dating someone. This tight control takes a toll. Former AKB48 member Miki Nishino said in a talk show interview that many girls in the group struggled with their mental health. She shared several examples of line messages from other members. Examples like, "I think someday things will start going my way," or, "If I keep looking forward, things will get better." She said those messages were often cries for help. And there's also the risk of stalkers. Maho Yamaguchi, a member of NGT48, AKB48's Niigata-based sister group, was assaulted outside her home by 2 stalkers. Her agency didn't respond until a week later, and only after she posted about it herself on Twitter. J-pop is big business. Agencies managing idol groups rake in huge profits, and many idols start out in their early teens, some as young as 14. That raises serious questions. Teenage girls working under the control of much older men inside an industry built on image, loyalty, and fantasy. And while we can't point fingers, it does make one wonder, what compels some parents to allow their daughters into this kind of career so early and with seemingly little parental control or resistance? Let's not forget, they're not just singers. They're part pop star, part advertising tool, and part influencer. Now there's one big difference between K-pop and the Japanese version. Korean groups are polished, international-facing brands. Japanese idol groups, on the other hand, are mostly domestic, with just a few sister groups in other parts of Asia. Their success isn't really about talent. It's about how well they connect with fans who buy their CDs, their merch, their tickets to concerts, as well as meet and greet events. At those events, fans pay to shake hands, take selfies, and chat with their favorite members. Photos of idols, especially from groups like AKB48, are everywhere. On magazine covers, subway ads, even trucks driving around the city. They'll often appear at promotional events too, sometimes playing roles like honorary police chief for a day. Is the industry likely to change? Maybe. Director Fukada, whose film Love on Trial we mentioned at the top of the show, hopes the industry is ready for change. His script is loosely based on a real-life case where an idol was sued for breaking a no-dating clause. Fukada argues that banning idols from having relationships feeds unhealthy fantasies, especially among older male fans. He also says the idol world reflects deeper issues in Japan's patriarchal society, particularly how women are treated and controlled. This is an industry built largely by men, for male fans, shaping how young women behave, look, and even, as we've mentioned, sleep. No one's talking openly about abuse or exploitation, but maybe that's the point. What doesn't get talked about is often where the silence is loudest. There are now virtual idols too, like Vocaloid Hatsune Miku, who has massive global popularity. And with artificial intelligence entering the scene, the idol industry might be on the verge of something completely new. There's no need to manipulate or exploit a real teenager when your pop star isn't even human. It's worth asking what that says about the audience and about the industry's appetite for control. What do you think? Is this just entertainment, or is this something more complicated? Feel free to leave your thoughts down in the comments. From the Japan Today newsroom here in Tokyo, I'm Jeff Richards. See you next time.